Angry Guy here, and today we're talking about what happens to women as men leave. And if you guys remember, years ago, I actually talked about that men would leave the West. I talked about this numerous times. I made a specific video even titled Men Leaving the West. And I talked about this phenomenon that would begin happening. And it is with the passport bros and just taking off, and guys literally saying, "Yeah, so many men are now relocating to other countries." So, what happens to women as men leave the West? As men leave? Well, we're going to get into that today. Let me cue that lit ass intro, though. So, what happens to women as men leave? So, men are walking away. Men have been walking away for the last couple of years. A lot of things have changed. A lot of work has become remote, and a lot of guys have also said, "You know what? The Jews just isn't worth the squeeze." And a lot of guys are going overseas, not just to the Philippines, but very much the Philippines, but also to Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, a lot of Asian countries, and they're finding wives over there, women who are more than happy to take these men. A lot of these guys are highly educated. You have to understand the kinds of men that are going to go overseas. They're not broke brothers. They're men with money in their pocket. But what a woman would call a valuable man in the '80s is now what she calls a broke brother in the 2020s. Like this. I'm so serious. Like there was a song back in the '80s, like "You can't be with me unless you have a job." Like for some of you younger guys that don't know about that, like this was back in the '80s. This was back in the '80s, and now these women are talking about millionaires and billionaires. Like she wants a man who's gonna be a millionaire, will eventually be a billionaire. Like they're absolutely delusional, beyond delusional. And these are men from all walks of life. You've got men who are doctors and lawyers, but you also have men who are garbage men, or they drive a train, or they work they work it they work in a variety of fields, or a male nurse. I was watching a video about a male nurse who makes $187,000 a year, and there are women who would try to like put this man down. And I'm like, this man's making $187,000 a year, and you know what this man is doing? This man is traveling. He's not sticking around. He's making his money, and as soon as he makes his money, he's dipping. He's like, I'm out. I'm out. He's going overseas. Like it's insane. Like there are women who will judge a man, judge him for how he makes his money. You can have a guy who's making $500,000 a year running a porter potty business, and a woman will say like, I don't want to date him because he's playing in shitty water all day. Like what? Or what's his job? Like he installs septic tanks. Like, oh yeah, I don't want to date him. That's shitty. That's nasty. This man's making $500,000 a year. Yeah, I don't care though. I don't care. I'll get what I want. And he's not even that tall. He's only like 5'9". I like guys who are at least 6'2". Like, I mean, guys like this. It's this attitude. I know a girl. Like, and I'm not gonna tell you who she is, but bro, I know a girl who lives in Africa. Like, okay, so I guess I'm gonna have to tell you who she is now, because you're like, how do you know a woman in Africa? So I used to hire her to do work for me, and her work was subpar. But I used to hire her to do work for me, administrative work, to help out, and just different things in the crypto space and administrative stuff, helping with social media. And this is a chick who, like, she was struggling. And not everyone in Africa is poor. I'll make it very clear, but she was struggling. At one point, she was living in a church, or staying at a church, because she got chased out of where she was living, and she wasn't in a stable place. She couldn't pay her rent. She talked about, like, if she couldn't meet rent, then something more provocative would end up happening with the landlord. Like, I'm just like being so serious. I didn't know this, but like this is what she claims. Like in Africa, they pay their rent, like, I don't know if it's like by 6 months at a time, or a year at a time. Like they pay everything at once. This is some stuff like that. And maybe that was just her situation. But this was a woman, like, she was struggling. She was in her 20s. Now she's like 27 now. She's a bit older. But I knew her, she was younger, but I've known her for so long at this point. And like, she is not speaking to me. I spoke to her like a month or so ago, maybe over a month ago. little while ago, and she's not speaking to me now. She has an attitude because I basically told her off. I was like, no, she started talking some jazz. Like this girl literally said she wants a, she wants a man who is a minimum of 6'3", and he has to be thick, and like what? And he has to be kind and have all these different qualities, and of course he has to be able to take care of her and provide for her. And she was like, this is the bare minimum. And I said to her, only like just over 14% of the U.S. population has people who are 6 feet tall. And she goes, those are good odds. I'm like, are you out of your mind? Like, are you out of your mind? Like, what are you like Mamacita? You used to live in a church. You don't even have like your own phone. Like, you can't even like you're on that struggle. You know, you're always getting scammed and schemed. There are always people trying to take advantage of you. Like this girl got robbed in Africa. This girl literally got robbed in Africa, and I don't know. I really just don't know. It's like it just baffles me. It just absolutely baffles me. And then she's like she's struggling. She was asking me for some more work, and I was like no. And I'm like, this is, and like you're talking this jazz, you're saying that you're gonna get this kind of guy, and what do you have to offer? And she's like, I'm ambitious, and all kinds of other crap. And I'm like, what does that do for any guy? This is like those are things that like that's nothing to offer a guy. A guy wants a woman who can cook and clean. She's like overweight. I'm not trying to put her down, but she's overweight. She could. This is another thing. It's like like sometimes I wonder like how is it that you're so heavy? Like how are you this heavy if like you're like you can't even you barely can't afford a lot of things. But I guess it's because maybe she's not maybe it's the kinds of foods that she's eating. She's not a bad looking person. It's just like, but like that attitude of hers, like think this level of entitlement. She's not a mean person, but she's that level of entitlements. Like she's a nice person overall, but she expects so much. Her father passed away during a couple of years ago, and it's just her mother now, and she's like her mother had she needs to take care of her mother, and I'm like she's delusional. Like so I'm like sweetie, you're delusional. Like you'd be lucky if you could find a good man, but she's like no, this is the kind of man I'm gonna get, and you have nothing to offer. So men are leaving, and what happens after to women as men leave? Women things go downhill. You're gonna end up with women basically being at the mercy of the government and of criminals. Because if men aren't defending women, then they're at the mercy of criminals and they're at the mercy of the government. All right, because it's men who stand up to the government. The government is not your friend. The government is a dangerous entity. Okay, I'm just being so honest with y'all. The government is a dangerous entity. Anyway, guys, I have a lot more to say about this, but I want to say it. I want to continue this in another video. I just wanted to give you that. I ended up going a little bit off on my own little tangent, talking about my own experience and what I've seen, and it's like just telling you about like this woman, and it's like it's not just her. It's like it's so many other girls. You watch like the Fresh and Fit podcast, or you watch just Pearly Things with Pearl Davis, and like it's like bro, like what are these girls talking about? What are these girls on? I don't. It's like they think that they deserve the world. They think that a man is supposed to, give them everything, and they give them nothing. And it's like, and then she's like, oh, I want to have all of this on my own too. Like she's like, I'm going to be a millionaire on my own, but the guy I marry, he better be a millionaire too. Like what? Get. I saw this video like on just Pearly's. This chick's like, this guy better be wealthy, but she's gonna be a millionaire in the next 2 years. And Pearl's like, oh, how are you gonna do that? Because I'm about to drop an album, so I'm gonna copy you. And she's like, no, you do your own thing. Like, and she's like, how old are you? This one's like 38. She already had kids. She was married for 15 years, but now she's focusing on herself, and she's gonna be this great superstar. And she needs this good man, and he also better be packing downstairs. Like what? Okay, okay, okay. You know, yeah. Anyway, I have so much more to say about this. What happens to women as men leave? But I'm going to cut it off here. I'm going to have another video up discussing more of this. I might even make this into somewhat of a series or like or relatable videos. But it's great being back on YouTube and recording again. And I can't wait for you guys to see this video and comment on it. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button. Let me know what you think in the comments if you agree with what I said regarding what happens to women as men leave. If you liked the video, please go ahead and hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.